What's up, my brothers? We got a requested topic today from a guy that is considering a big move and kind of wants to hold back because of a woman. So let's hop right into it and dive into this request. He says he's got a big decision coming up, wants my view. He's 29 years old and in engineering in Southern Ontario. Recently got a job offer to move to the Midwest USA. The job is at a Fortune 500 company in a town of 20,000. That is a small town, my friend. The total compensation when you factor salary, bonus, and benefits is roughly 150 to 175K Canadian, with opportunities for advancements. The work schedule will be 4 days a week, with every week being a long weekend. Although the town is smallish, there's opportunities to travel to ski resorts, mountain biking trails, hiking trails, and anything your heart desires when it comes to outdoors. If I'm tired of the outdoors, a 1 million plus city is 3 hours drive away, and round trip flights to other world-class cities are only $250 to $400. Furthermore, I can live in a town approximately 2,000 US dollars a month and save 5,000 US dollars a month. Okay, so currently you work in Southern Ontario. I've been working here for a year and a half. Makes about 100K. It's considerably less than what they're offering you. I was working in Northern Canada for about 4 years and managed to pay off student loans, car, travel, and saved 160,000 Canadian. Came back to Southern Ontario so that I can enjoy the metropolitan lifestyle and potentially meet someone. I'm also currently living with my parents, and even though I was raised on less than what I currently make now, I find it hard to justify living on my own in the city I'm currently living in. I'm assuming in Southern Ontario, we're talking Toronto, Windsor, Hamilton, something like that. My plan to stay in Southern Ontario was going well until the pandemic hit. A lot of guys have had their world shook up with this pandemic, guys. This is an interesting time. It just goes to show you that you want to try to work in an industry or find yourself in a place that can be pandemic proof, because I've said this before, I'll say it again. This is not the first time this is going to happen. You're going to see the government or the state impose lockdowns and restrictions on your movement on a go-forward basis in the future. It's worked out very well for them. It lets them control the population a lot better and exert new taxes and so on and so forth. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but you get the point. A lot of people's lives have changed because of this. So with all the shutdowns that seem to be for the last, may last for another year, it seems foolish to stay in the city, and he's finding it hard to spin plates, which is odd because you should have no troubles with that in a large metropolitan city. I suspect something might be missing here. I've had a lot of guys in my community and on private Q&A calls that we've done that have had some great success, so I'm wondering what you're missing. In fact, we're going to find out what you're missing in a second because I've skimmed through this before. Although I can work from home and job security seems to be there, I have a nagging voice in my head that something bad's about to happen either with my job or with this country. Hence is why I was applying for jobs to the U.S. Your feeling is correct, my friend. If you're young and not tied down by a wife and kids, your ability to maneuver is great. And I'd say moving to the Midwest of the U.S. is far better than Southern Ontario. To make matters more complicated, I met a woman before the pandemic started. So let's say the relationship's less than a year old now, because I'm recording this in the fall of 2020. So things have been going great. She's a great cook. She's fit. She's really good at her job. She has a decent salary. She's smart. However, some red flags with her are that she's 5 years older and she's a recent immigrant from a foreign country who doesn't have a permanent residency card. I'm assuming that's what that is. If I accept this job, we will have to go long distance as she can't leave the country at the moment. Is it worth making this move? My concern is, it will be tough to meet women in a small town as I'm getting older. So the reason why you're not spinning plates is because you have a girlfriend. Let's call it what it is. You're having a hard time meeting other women because you've resigned yourself to your girlfriend from the foreign country who doesn't have permanent residency and is doing all the right things right now to interest you. She's cooking, she's being feminine, she's doing everything that guys like. So that's not that unusual. Now, that being said, at 29, there's really not a lot that should be holding you back. You've got the opportunity to move to a better country with a lower tax rate, probably get residency at some point. I don't see Canada's economic climate improving. We've just seen bad leadership term after term after term that's racking up debt, increase in taxation, limiting our ability to maneuver, restricting movements. Um, there's really just a lot of great things on the horizon that I can see with Canada. So I think the U.S. is probably a better country to consider. The taxation rates, of course, going to be much lower, and it sounds like you're moving to a nice little area of the U.S. That being said, a town of 20,000 is going to limit you to, well, you're going to have very limited options when it comes to the dating marketplace. You already limited yourself to dating options because you got into an LTR with this foreign girl. I'm just going to use Toronto. Let's just assume that you're in Toronto because that's, one of the large metropolitan cities. Had you not limited yourself to that, you'd be spinning other plates. But, here we are. So the question really is, should I stay or should I go to my new vocation? And I'll tell you, at 29, with a woman that you hardly know, who is 5 years older than you, dude, you don't wife up or get into an LTR with a woman that's that much older than you. Your best opportunity for a successful long-term relationship is going to be with a chick that's like 7 to 9 years younger, is what the data shows. And you're already starting from a point of disadvantage because she's older than you. You barely know her. She's from a foreign country. I don't know which one. It would be good if I, had known that data. But she's from a foreign country. She doesn't have residency. She has to be on her best behavior because she's looking for residency at some point. So locking down a good guy that will help her with that is advantageous to her. So there's not a lot of upside to you staying in Canada, right? When you factor in taxation, the fact that you barely know this chick, she's older than you, she's motivated to be on on her very, very best behavior right now, I would still go. You got lots of time to find mother stock if that's what you're looking for. I'm not even going to use the term wife stock anymore because marriage is such a bad idea. But I get that guys want to have kids, so we'll just call it mother stock. You got lots of time to find that. You got easily 5 or 6 years minimum. Okay, you got lots of runway. She doesn't. If you're 29, that means she's 34. So she's probably starting to feel baby rabies. She's looking for a good guy to lock down. Blah blah blah. You've already heard all the stuff. So it's not a good idea to stay back for this chick. It's not a good idea because you think your dating options will be limited. If the next closest town with 1 million people that live in it is a 3-hour drive away, that's probably a 30 to 45-minute flight. I'm assuming there's going to be a small airport in your town at the very least, so you can probably charter, go back and forth to bigger cities. With the kind of money that you're going to be making, those kinds of flights won't cost you a lot of money. Or, you could do some dating in that larger city. You can also try your town of 20,000, which you're not going to get a lot of opportunities, but it's better than nothing. Again, as you mentioned early on, it has lots of upshot, right? Making more money, more job placement opportunities throughout different states. Of course, if you want to get residency in the U.S., if you've been there long enough working, it becomes easier and easier. Taxation rates are far more favorable. So I don't know how many times I got to go over it, guys, but don't let women hold you back. Chase excellence, not women. You hardly know this one. Doesn't sound like a great fit because you're already talking about the red flags that you've outlined. Who knows what else might pop up in the next year. Let's say you hold yourself back, for another year. Let's just say that you do that. And, 3 or 4 more big red flags pop up as you start spending more and more time with her for another year, right? I mean, you've just wasted all that. You already know that there's some big red flags right now that are, for the most part, deal breakers. The way that you've described it, the way that I would see it, they would be deal breakers anyway. So I'd encourage you to take advantage of those opportunities and move the hell on, right? Guys, chase excellence, not women. Go do it. If you want to make a request for a video, I'll put a card up on the top right of the screen over here. There's a pop-out banner that'll show you. You just click through and similar to what he did, make the request. Also pinned in all the top comments, there's links for a bunch of stuff, joining my men's community, books I recommend, booking one-on-one coaching, so on and so forth. So check those all out. Hope you guys have an amazing day. We'll see you later. Peace.